Bonjour, welcome to another French tutorial by Madame Carol. Today we're going to be talking about the pas de rule, again continuing our study of la négation en français. D'abord, révisons. So let's review just a little bit before we continue. We're going to review our ER verbs as well as our new irregular verb, avoir. So for our ER verbs, we know that there are two steps. The first step is we're going to take off the ER of our infinitive. So if the infinitive is parler, we're going to take off that ER and it'll be parle. For manger, take off the ER and becomes mange. Step two is to add the appropriate ending. So for je, then the ending is I. Tu, the ending is IS. Il, c'est E. Elle, E. On, E. So remember, on is our one or our informal we. Nous, we add ONS. Vous, we're going to add easy. Il pluriel ENT. Elle pluriel ENT. So these are the endings that we're going to add on after we find our stem after taking off that ER. Avoir, on the other hand, is irregular, right? We just have to memorize all of the forms. So those forms are j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, on a. And for our plurals, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. So remember, for those plural, nous, vous, il, elle, pluriel, we're going to hear that liaison. Right? For nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. So we're going to continue reviewing to make a sentence negative, right? We have a couple different negative expressions that we can use. Ne pas, ne pas is just our general don't negative statement. It goes around the conjugated verb. So, je n'aime pas chanter. Right? I don't like to sing. Je n'aime pas chanter. Ne jamais, remember never, ne jamais, again goes on the conjugated verb. Je ne vais jamais au théâtre. Right? I never go to the theater. Je ne vais jamais au théâtre. Ne plus, no longer, goes like around the conjugated verb. Je ne parle plus. I'm no longer speaking. Ne rien, or nothing, goes around the conjugated verb. Je n'ai rien. I have nothing. And finally, ne personne, remember, goes around the entire verb phrase. Our verb phrase includes conjugated verb, infinitives, and prepositions. So, je ne vais téléphoner à personne. And ne personne goes around our entire verb phrase. That includes our conjugated verb aller, v, our infinitive téléphoner, and our preposition à. So the pas de rule, right? The pas de rule is when we have un, une, des, du, or de la after a negative phrase, it always becomes de. It's the English equivalent of any, but in English we don't have to say any. In French, it always becomes de. So for example, il y a un jeu télévisé ce soir. Right? There is a game show tonight. Non, il n'y a pas de jeu télévisé. And you'll notice here the ne goes before our verb, before our pronoun. Il n'y a pas de jeu télévisé. Right? There is not any game show on, right? There is no game show on. Il n'y a pas de jeu télévisé. Vous cherchez des variétés? Are you looking for music programs? Non, nous ne cherchons pas de variété. You'll notice that variété, it continues to be plural even though we've changed the de to de, right? It is the pas de rule. After a negative phrase, un, une, des, du, or de la becomes de. Tu manges souvent du chocolat? Non, je ne mange jamais de chocolat. Even with our other negative phrases like jamais, we're going to use the de afterwards. So even though it is the quote-unquote pas de rule, we're not always going to use de with it. Or pas with it. Il regarde encore des dessins animés? Non, il ne regarde plus de dessins animés. Even though this is plural, our de changes to de in the negative, even when we're using plus. However, note that when the negative is followed by le, la, l'apostrophe, or les, the article does not change, right? The pas de rule only applies to un, une, des, du, or de la. Tu aimes le football américain? Non, je n'aime pas le football américain. Right? Again, because we're using definite article, we're using that le, la, l'apostrophe les, not going to change with the negative. Sa mère préfère la vanille? Non, elle ne préfère pas la vanille. Again, because we're using la vanille with our verb of preference, we're going to keep it la vanille. Il regarde les infos à la télé? Non, il ne regarde pas les infos à la télé. The definite article is not going to change. Same thing applies for possessive adjectives. Mon, ma, mes, ton, ta, tes, son, sa, c'est, notre, non, votre, vos, leur. It also applies to demonstrative adjective ce, cette, c'est. So let's practice. Pratiquons. Answer the following questions negatively. Watch out for the pas de rule. So take a couple minutes. You can pause the video, go through and try to answer these questions, starting with non. Make sure that you change your subject. If it's tu, it goes to je. If it's third person, it stays to third person. And watch out for that pas de rule. All right, so now that you have finished those, let's go through these answers. Right? So for the first one, it says, Est-ce que tu regardes des dessins animés? Always going to start out with non, right, for yes or no questions. So non, je ne, oh là là, j'ai oublié ne, voilà, non, je ne regarde pas de dessins animés. Right? So if you look here, that de changes to de in the negative. Non, je ne regarde pas de dessins animés. Deux, est-ce que tu fais souvent du sport? We know the opposite of souvent is ne jamais. Non, je ne fais jamais de sport. Du is going to change to de in the negative. Est-ce que tu aimes les légumes? Non, je n'aime pas les légumes. Definite article, le, la, l'apostrophe les, not going to change in the negative. 4. Est-ce qu'il y a encore de la pizza? You know, the opposite of encore is ne plus. Non, il n'y a plus de pizza. That the de la changes to de. Est-ce que tu as une télé? Non, je n'ai pas de télé. No, I don't have a TV. That une needs to change to de in the negative. So it's just a quick review of the pas de rule. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment or you can send me a quick email. See you next class. Good luck.